Pounders, welcome back. We'll be doing a little beers and Bestball. I have to drink the remaining pumpkin beers in the fridge right now, but week 9 Battle Royale, we got some pretty big news with DK being out, T. Higgins expected to be out, and Puka dealing with the same knee injury that kept him out a few weeks earlier this season and pulled from practice on Thursday, did not practice today, Friday. So we're not going to get a ruling until it's going to be a game time decision on Puka. I mean, Kyron, a little bumpy, a little bump up. Cooper Kupp, a little bump up. So we'll see where these guys are going in the drafts right now. But you're getting Puka in the 5th round. DK was someone I wasn't drafting early on that Monday stream for Smash the Slate. I think someone took him in the early 3rd round on Dog Bowl, and I thought that was a little premature for Monday. Like, let's sort of see if he can get a limited practice by Wednesday or Thursday. And officially ruled out now. So I am going to have some pick swaps of last round DK, but I'm okay with leaning into those questionable spots when it's not going to cost you a 2nd or 3rd round guy on Monday or Tuesday. But let's jump into, let's see, I've done 2 of the fullback dives. That's the 5 entry max, $25 entry contest. This is my favorite. We front paged 3 times now on this contest. I wish they did the $20, was it 3rd and long, 3 entry max? I wish that was out right now, but they're dropping that on like Saturday night, Sunday morning, which is fine. I understand those take a little longer to fill. People wait for more news, which I think is smart. We did predict that these receivers were going to jump ahead of the running backs, so that feels pretty good. Officially, Jamar Chase taking the 2 spot over Kamara today. And your cousin from Boston, get the Sam Adams Jacko out, elite tier pumpkin beer, and we get rewarded with the 1 spot. Let's go. Some shouts. Let's bet MMA here nice and early. Jared, what's up? Stars in the house. Stars has been absolutely crushing it in Battle Royales. I see you out here. Sandy in the house. What's up, baby? Smooth Criminal, Adam, just got a Sloop Brewery Juice Bomb IPA. If you don't think Adam's charged up right now, you're wrong. You're wrong. He's charged. Cheers, you fellas. Happy Friday. And I need some volume, so I'm hoping to get a lot of drafts in. Let's see the refresh here. Okay, we have the exposures up. I have legitimately, I think I have like 20 something drafts, so not a ton of volume, but 0 Barkley right now, which doesn't feel good. 17% AJ Brown, 20% Hurts, but this is something I didn't realize until today on the overlay with the exposures, uploading them and seeing like no Barkley. So I do want to get this up to a good 15, 16%. I want to be pretty equal with the field on this one. But I will say, one of these top 4 receivers in every draft, I have a lot of Tyreek. I do want to chill just a little bit on Tyreek, just with the amount of, just the way Buffalo plays too high on their D. And we know Tyreek's numbers sort of take a hit with that style of defense. So we'll see on Tyreek. He's just hashtag best ball guy, hashtag deep field tournament. So it's hard to be under 16% on Hill, but I have to chill a little bit being at 34%. That being said, HN at 13.8%. I do want to get this up. So that's a good spot. K-Walk, very high on K-Walk this week. And let's get some scrolls. This is why you come. This is why you click on the video. This is why you get here early. Zach Moss, not expected to play. Not officially ruled out, but doubtful for Sunday as of 5 hours ago. Hello, Scroll. Hello, Scroll Chase Brown. How are you doing? He is going to end up, what? 50%, 40, maybe not even that high. Maybe like around 30% drafted. We'll see how people react to the news on Chase Brown. I'm curious to see if people are mixing him in yet. I've already started mixing him in, and where I think it's more important to mix him in, obviously people are going to have him on the main slate BR. Those 3 entry max, 5 entry max, single entry contests, the higher price point contests, like people are more tied to ADP. That's where you grab that advantage of that scroll and they actually already updated his projection. This was at 10.4, 10.1 earlier today. So they already updated the projection. And I also like Dobbins. I also like James Conner. 3 guys that, well, these 2 I mentioned on Monday. Chase Brown, I mean, no Moss. He's going to get more touches. He's not the blocking down back, which is what's sort of hurt him and why Moss plays so much. I don't want to be tied to ADP. Lamb and Amon-Ra is going to be super common of a pairing. That being said, let's just reach up and do something like this. I know Drake London. Let's do this. Let's add Drake London in. We'll skip over this tier of Amon-Ra, Neighbors, Puka, and we'll go Drake London for the game stack. There's a couple wide receivers in between Drake London and Lamb. So maybe it's a little less common. Obviously, you can get that game stack anytime you want it. But earlier today, I got Bijan to fall to my Lamb team, and that feels less owned of a combination of Atlanta versus Dallas than the Drake London. But I'm still going to want a couple of these. And just a quick update, bestballoverlay.com. We have Underdog putting out a UI update, which has affected the combination tool. So you may not see the combination tool pop up right now. An update is expected in the next 48 hours, 3 days. And that will make the accommodations for Underdog's newest updates to their UI. So you will have to go to the website and you will just re-download, follow the directions, takes 50 seconds. It'll be overlay 1.3. You'll see the update. Let's actually pull up the optimizer right now and just see where I'm at. Beautiful. 83% teams, 2 RB. So RB in the flex. I want to be 75 to 80%. So right around that range. I'm good with being a little over right now. And what's cool is if you guys haven't seen that, you can just separate it by tournament as well. Bestballoverlay.com, promo code Pounders, all caps, the biggest edge in best ball. Last year's Dog Bowl winner signed up. D-Rap, 3-time ticket winner in 6 weeks, which is just insanity. Insanity. Has been using the overlay. So pretty cool. Chase Brown season. Oh, man, we've been waiting for this, boys. We've been, not even just like Battle Royale standpoint, but season-long bags. We've been waiting for this. Cue the music. Cue the music. I secretly want Lamar Jackson here. I'm not too worried about Deontay Johnson this week. I don't think you should be either. Zay Flowers is definitely in play. Ooh. Oh, he's going to pass the buck to us. We could. I would like Kirk Cousins more if he wasn't a top 6 QB this week. I think it's just too obvious of a spot. We got a slightly falling Lamar against Denver. Could we go? And then tight end. I like McBride this week. It's just he's been allergic to the end zone. I think we just roll with McBride. I don't think we have to reinvent the wheel here. Let's go the tight end 2 on the slate, and I think for pretty good reason. Ingram, I like Ingram this week too, but if BTJ plays, give me the less chalky bring back. And I did send this to the Patreon members as well, is everyone is game stacking with Philly with Ingram as the bring back, and BTJ, sure. See, we have 17% as a scroll. I feel pretty good about that. It's going to be a game time decision. So it's not really risky. It's a last round pick. You can just pick swap. I'm just going to have a lot of shares. So we're just not going to know. It's going to be game time decision. So that does make it a little tougher. So wherever you lie on your risk reward variance level, and I tend to lean somewhere in the middle. So maybe I slow down on BTJ, but especially in Dog Bowl, he was the last round click in the Dog Bowl on Monday, on Tuesday, and I just couldn't get enough. So a lot of those shares are coming from Dog Bowl. Wide receiver 2 in ownership for season long. Josh Downs, drafted him through the injury. Told you guys to draft him through the injury. Luckily, it's turned out pretty damn good. And part of that reasoning, and we brought it up, was if A-Rich goes down, they have a capable backup. That's part of the security of Josh Downs. Now, pairing that with the Pittman fade also just really feels nice. But Josh Downs this week, I think Underdog has him around 11.5, or one of the sportsbooks has him around 11.5 fantasy points. It's pretty good. Max Sauce in the house. This dude definitely has the bell on for notifications. Appreciate you, bro. The week was very good. We ended up with a 4th place finish in one of the contests. So we get a little boost to the to the bank account here. Someone go Chase Brown. Okay, the source. The source is very sharp. Tony Pollard, also a game time decision. Spears was just ruled out. I find it very difficult that he won't play. But however, we do have a falling James Cook. We have no Buffalo pieces. Again, I think that's just a spot where it's like, hey, we're not going to reinvent the wheel. And I think there are going to be good spots to scroll down. Taysom Hill definitely in play. This is a fun one here too. Taysom Hill. No Kendra Miller. No Jamal Williams. I hate when Taysom Hill is actually on the slate because you have to mix him in. You have to. It feels it's kind of annoying. He's one of those players that just sort of annoys me because when I'm on him, he misses. When I don't draft him, he hits 16. So I will be at field at least on Taysom Hill, that around that 16% territory. But let's see how Dog Bowl is doing. And we have a few more we're going to jump in. Pretty exciting. Going to be jumping on Fantasy Points again tonight. If you guys missed the cage match I did with Neil and Jake, that dropped on, I believe that was Wednesday. DFS cash game for charity put on by Fantasy Points. Very fun. 1 versus 1 versus 1. Can't draft the same player. If you guys are familiar with Al Smiz in the cage match that he used to run, it's very similar to that. So shout out to Neil. Shout out to Jake. And I'll be live with Jake and Brian tonight on Fantasy Points after this show. So going right over at 8:30. So we are going to be ripping as many drafts as possible until that show pops. Let's hit up a fullback dive and just see what +4. It's probably not going to fill. I know you guys could fill it, but I don't want to draft with you guys. You absolute sickos. Here's my 2 fullback dive teams. So I'll give you a little sneak peek. This is a Gibbs Walker, Chase Hill. Trey McBride was the last pick here. This one just feels very, very strong. There's no trickery here. I probably could have auto-drafted this team, to be honest. Josh Allen, Kyron, Chase Brown. Here's our scroll in one of those 5-entry max type contests. AJ Brown and Cup with Trey McBride. I like it. I do maybe want to come off McBride for a couple of the other ones. Monitor that. It's funny. Like these, I've had very good success with these 5-entry max, 3-entry max contests, and they've really been keeping my balance afloat, and that is the benefit of them. They are easier to get on the front page. It's easier to get a high payout. You don't need to hit the nuts, and you're playing it a little different than the main slate. But the main slate, week 1, we had a sweat for 3rd place that came closely to an end. At the 2-minute warning in the 4th quarter of the last games. We're only doing about 20 to 40 a week on the main slate. If it's on, it's going to be Chase or Barkley here. I need to have some Barkley this week. I need to have more Kyron. I have been picking a lot from the 1, 2, and 3, and I was getting ahead. Like they just don't want to. They don't want me to get Barkley shares, which is fine. I think I have a shit ton of Lamb too. 24% Lamb and 27.6% Chase. So I did get ahead of these players moving up in ADP. You had Kamara going at the 101 on Monday when the contest dropped, if you guys remember that. So we've been drafting Lamb and Chase at 1 and 2 all week. Starting on Monday, the Dog Bowl, I believe we went. We went Lamb 101. Kobe in the house, what's up, baby? How do you feel about the sweat that Crutches and Hot Sauce have for a Dog Bowl seat? So I saw they tied, right? 3rd and 4th place last week. Does it come down to when they drafted? Like whoever drafted their team first? Or what did they end up doing, Kobe? Because no, I don't know, but I do know they tied for 3rd. So they came in 3rd and 4th place for last week's Dog Bowl. It's a 1 versus 1 this week. No. What do they do with the 10K? It's also the 10K? Because I know nothing about it, but now I'm very interested. Yeah. Adam saying I have 30% CD. I feel you, bro. I feel you. I don't think it's a bad thing to come off that click of CD at the 101. Neighbors goes. Bijan's here. I don't have a ton of Bijan, so I feel like I should be mixing him in this spot. I think I have 1 or 2 shares of Bijan, so. They each keep 5K, but this is for the seat. Okay. That's nice, but holy shit. What is the 1v1? Like, I had to do something similar, different stakes, obviously. 1 sec. Let me make sure that the Dog Bowl seat isn't just like drafting without me. No. Okay. +3. All right. +2 now. If you guys want to jump in that Dog Bowl. Because I did something similar the year that the championship game, week 17, Buffalo versus Cincy, DeMar Hamlin going down. We had to settle it with a DFS matchup. One had the running back, one had a receiver, and it was a very close game. When the game got canceled, it was like the fantasy championship game for the league I commish was within 3 points. So we just said, hey, 1 versus 1 DFS next week, week 18, which is so gross. So do your research. And that takes first place. I like Gibbs here. Luckily, I've drafted no Puka. Have a lot of Cup. I like Kyron here too. But it's tough for me to come off the Gibbs click right now. Yeah. Week 18. So that's, you gotta make it work, right? And as commish, like I made sure everyone was good with it. But that's going to be exciting. I want to sweat with them. So is it a draft? Is it like a 1 versus 1 draft? Because that would be crazy. That would be crazy. You're basically going with your best picks, right? Like, do you care if you get one of Lamar, Hurts, or Josh Allen? I'm probably between Josh Allen and Lamar in that situation if you're going to draft Barkley. So it's like you can play it different ways too. Very interesting. You definitely want one of Lamb or Chase. I think if it is a 1v1, it would go something like Lamb, Chase, AJ Brown, running back potentially, running back, QB. It'd be very, very interesting. Where's Ramondre for you? It's a good question. Ramondre is someone that you can mix in the dog bowl, but God. Drake May, did they still make it? They make a decision yet? Questionable for Sunday with the concussion. I think it's pretty up in the air whether he plays or not. Like, what's the purpose of him playing this week, right? With the team just being out of the playoffs, out of the running. Wow, they're gonna give us Cup here, huh? Adams in this draft, I'd even notice. I like Jaden Daniels here too. I guess we can go with. Are we going no scroll option here? If Puka doesn't play, like, Cup should be drafted way earlier than 20. So I guess I'll play this one pretty boring. And with Puka being out, I don't really love Staffy anymore. Jordan Love expected to play is pretty big news. Bo Nix, you can definitely stack Bo Nix. You can stack Tua as well. 22-point total, implied team total. It's about as far as I would go. Geno Smith, I liked Geno early in the week. You can see I have a Geno share or two. I liked it when DK still had the potential playing. He's played one game where he's thrown multiple touchdowns, one or two. And DK being out obviously lowers the chances of that. So don't love it as much. Matthew Stafford, don't love it as much. So I do think there is a little more certainty of who we should be mixing in on the main slate. Bo Nix definitely in play. We need to end this one with a tight end and a QB. Dog Bowl started up. Sick. I'm actually okay with being on the back. Now, I didn't mean 12, but a lot of my drafts are 1 through 5 this week for the Dog Bowl. He goes Olave. God damn, am I going to end up with this much Trey McBride this week? Do we just go Trey McBride and Kyler to end this? Could go Joe Burrow, right? But again, like you also have T. Higgins out. So like, is it the best week to be drafting Joe Burrow? I don't think so. I'm happy with DK mixing him in. I'm happy with Cousins mixing him in. I think the week becomes a little more transparent though with these wide receiver 2 injuries in their offense. Puka maybe wide receiver 1 in his offense. Kyron AJ Chase. Yep. That's exactly how I think it will go. Because the QB options are strong, whether like if you care, you should maybe do care if you're getting. The thing is, like, Josh Allen crushes Miami. If you look at his splits, I was looking at it the other day. If you look at his splits against Miami, he owns them. He owns them. He's always putting up big games. But Lamar Jackson losing last week, like, you got to think he wants revenge this week. And that game is surprisingly 46.5-point total. Baltimore is 10-point favorites, 9.5-point favorites. But BTJ, I'm interested to see if he's going to play. If not, that cage match I have against Jake and Neil Orfield for fantasy points, I have Parker Washington, and that is a little bit of a risk. I mean, he was 3,600, so he brings my budget way down. But if one of Gabe Davis or BTJ doesn't play, I mean, it's one of the better value picks for cheap players in DFS this week. So your boy does a little bit of DFS, not a ton, but I know a thing or two. Oh, Amon-Ra goes Gibbs and Drake London. Gibbs and Achan. Allen and Drake London. Do we just double tap 2 late receivers? Feels so gross. That feels gross. Do we just go Cup in London here? I don't even love Drake London this week. That's the thing. Hey, shout out to Duels in the 4 spot. What's up, baby? Kid's got play money right now. He's been crushing. Let's do it. Let's bring in Drake London. Let's go back-to-back receivers. I do think receiver falls off. That being said, I think it is fun to try to find one of these guys down here. JSN, extremely good value this week. I'm lucky that I have some pick swaps in my other dog bulls, and I save those teams. If I have a questionable player, I make sure I go and I save that draft board because I want to be able to dissect. I'm also not doing 150 of these. I'm doing about 8 to 12 dog bulls a week, so I can easily just monitor where my questionable players are and then go look at the draft board, see who was drafted. And there's a couple where JSN's not drafted. There's a couple where Chase Brown isn't not drafted, and I went 3 receivers, so pretty nice. So I'm going to have my pick swaps up by Sunday morning. Maybe this ends up a double stack with Kirk Cousins, and we go Mooney. See what comes back to us, though. Let's get into another main slate. Again, I need volume. I've been getting my volume on stream, which is not the most ideal thing in the world. I get the 2 spot again. I might just have to go Barkley. I need to mix in a little bit of Barkley. I need to mix in some Kyron. Pick 2 and pick 11. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if my body will let me. I don't know if my hands will let me. I like this. The boys are zooming right now. Shout out to Crash Rich, an absolute robot. Ben in the house. I don't even know if he's in the stream, but Ben in the draft room. DMO, shout out to you, bro. G for Gumby. I believe that is it. I believe has a ticket. This dude's always drafting. Always drafting. And Ben, dude, we need to talk about that Mooney Wicks bet, bro. We need to talk about that Mooney Wicks bet. It's not over till it's over, but Mooney looking look like he's gonna take the dub on that. Kyron 2 tutties this week. I definitely need more Kyron. It's just draft position, boys. Just draft position. Do you like Kyron more or less with Puka potentially being out? One of these times I'm going to get Chase with one of these running backs. It's happened before, I believe, with Henry. Shut the fuck up. Bro goes Chase Brown in the third round or second round? Where? Third round. Come on. Come on. Like, at least let us get him in the 4th. The beginning of the 4th. Man, I'm okay with this. So what do you think? He's going Burrow at 47 or I mean, the offense does become a little more condensed. Jaceki even, like shout out to Neil. He played that cage match as if Higgins was going to be sitting. And then Jaceki seeing a lot more plays, a lot more receptions, targets from the slot last week, even though he only played just over 50% of snaps. But these QBs going this late, my God, if one of those could have made it to us, we've been very happy. But we have our options. I do like Kirk Cousins better than Staffy this week. We're on the clock here. Let's go Josh Allen. And then probably Bowers. This might just be a scroll type. Want to what? Achane, then Bowers, if we have to choose. Let's just not go next best available running back. Sure. It's just one later, but it does lower the chances that people stack them. It is correlated game script, so it'll be still a fair amount, but okay, goes K-Walk. Njoku expected to play. Kirk Cousins goes right here. I don't love that. Swift. If Swift made it to us, that would have felt pretty good. Damn, these dog bowls are actually tough. I'm glad I got my entries in early. These dog bowls are tough now. He goes Joey Burr. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. I played one on Monday where we got Joey Burr to fall very far to us. Wanna what? I have the sigh. The freaking deep, deep sigh. Kirk Cousins here doesn't feel good. Not gonna lie. I just want double tap RB. Someone's gonna go Mooney, right? Mooney and Kirk, or where's Pitts? Where's the Pitts drafter? Taysom Hill already off the board. It's sharp. I don't even necessarily love Jacobs against Detroit. I have an idea how to play this one. Damn, I'm surprised. Taysom Hill. I like it. It's just all of my favorite clicks have risen so far up the board. That's what makes later in the week drafting so difficult, is because people now have access to the Sims and all that, but can't stop us in the main slate. See what this guy does. He's going to go a tight end. I'm hoping he clicks me off. Yeah, so there's another one going Chase Brown. So Chase Brown's going to be drafted. He might be drafted near 50%, 60%, 50%, I would say. $27% McBride. I like Ingram too. If BTJ, especially if BTJ doesn't play. Go McBride again. He's getting the targets. I like Taysom Hill. There's just so many tight ends that you can mix in this week. There's really, like, even Komet. Komet's in play, like bounce back week. Henry, I would prefer if Drake May was playing. So I'm not mixing in Henry. Jonnu's interesting. Jonnu's always interesting, though. Zach Ertz, 11 targets last week. Like, this has been pretty high from a floor standpoint. Last 3 games. Kincaid. Andrews is one of, yeah, I have 10%. I mean, 3 games in a row with touchdowns. So being heavily targeted in the red zone now is a nice outlook. I'm not too worried about Deontay Johnson this week specifically as well. Stars, bro. Going crazy. Going crazy. Dog Bowl, we have 2 picks left. Kyler goes. JSN now going at 43. I think that's very sharp. Jaden Reed at 41. Looks like Love is going to play. Myers. I like the Myers click. These guys have all risen up. That's why I'm glad I got my 2 receivers, because I do think receiver falls off. But I do like JSN as one of those value guys. Lamar Rizay Flowers is clean. Jake Ferguson went all the way to 52. I have a running back in mind. Now, whether he makes it to us or not is a different question. So someone went Chase Brown in this. What if we scroll all the way to Chuba? Chuba, Tony Pollard. We have a lot of J.K. Dobbins, 7%. That went up to probably 8%. Let's go Chuba here. Still getting 17 touches last week. Chuba went at 47 here to Nobo Sox, just seeing that. So he goes 2 scrolls at running back. Still gets Kyler at 50. And he needs a last round receiver. It'll be interesting to see what he does for that. Sam Laporte at 55 to Ben, Lions fan. But this definitely opens up Gino. My God. Goff. I want 1 share of this guy. It looks like we're going to get him. Everyone has 2 running backs. So the idea was to go Rico as the bring back here in this Dallas-Atlanta stack. So it looks like we're going to get him. And tight ends deep, boys. Tight ends deep. Like whether we get Andrews or Kraft, I really don't have a preference here. So he goes Shakir first. Shakir had actually really good game last week. Who do you guys like better? Do you guys like Andrews or Kraft to send us to Dallas? I lean Andrews, but I lean Andrews. Let's go Dowdle. Let's go Andrews here. So we get our game stack. We get Rico. I did want at least 1 share of Rico here, so I feel pretty good about that. Chase Brown, I think I'm going to be able to get a couple shares from pick swaps where I luck out on drafting 3 wide receiver teams with either DK or Higgins, and he's going to be high. He's going to be high up in my pick swaps. JSN's going to be boosted up as well. So just a little idea for you boys. A little Jameis Winston with Cedric Tillman. Nice. That's a sick one. All right, boys. Well, I'm going to be hopping over to the Fantasy Points YouTube channel with Jake and Ryan to draft some more BRs. So if you guys want to come hang out, support the team, come drop a like and shit, and I'll catch you over there. But appreciate you guys. Drop a sub on your way out if you guys are new. Hit the bell for notifications so you know when we go live. And good luck, Week 9 Pounders.